It's 3 o'clock a.m. The house is still. The world outside is wrapped in a quiet that feels both peaceful and unsettling. You lie in bed, eyes wide open, staring into the dark. The clock ticks gently on the nightstand. You shift, sigh, and wonder, why again? You've done everything right. You went to bed at a reasonable hour, you turned off the television, put your phone away, even had a cup of warm tea. And yet, your body stirs at the same time every night, like it's responding to some invisible signal, waking you up just as the rest of the world slips deeper into sleep. If you're an older adult, you're not alone in this experience. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond find themselves waking up regularly around 3 o'clock a.m., a time often misunderstood, dismissed, or even feared. For some, it feels like insomnia. For others, it's a sign that something is wrong. But what if this quiet, in-between hour wasn't a problem to solve, but a message from your body, your mind, your life experience? In this story, because this is not just an article, but a deeply human story, we will walk gently through the reasons why so many older adults find themselves waking in the middle of the night. We will not treat you like a list of symptoms or data points. We will speak to the person you are, the years you've lived, the burdens you've carried, the quiet aches that only show themselves when the world has gone quiet. This journey will explore 6 key reasons why sleep is so often disrupted in later life. The biological shift in your internal rhythm, common sleep disorders that become more pronounced with age, health conditions, both physical and emotional, that disrupt rest, the underestimated impact of medication, the invisible weight of worry, stress, and anxiety, the importance of your sleep environment. Each of these is a doorway to understanding yourself better, not just as a patient or a number, but as a human being, still growing, still changing, still deserving of rest. If you've ever felt alone during these early morning wake-ups, this is for you. If you've ever wondered what's happening to your sleep, to your body, to your peace of mind, this is for you. And if you've ever whispered to yourself in the dark, will I ever sleep through the night again? This is especially for you. Let's begin not with fear, but with gentle curiosity. Because maybe, just maybe, 3 o'clock a.m. isn't just a disruption. Maybe it's a signal, and maybe tonight you'll start to understand what it's been trying to tell you. Chapter 1. The Rhythm Within. How Aging Changes Your Sleep Cycle. Sleep used to come so easily. For many older adults, there was a time when sleep felt natural and complete. Falling asleep without effort, staying asleep through the night, waking refreshed with the light of morning. But somewhere along the path of aging, that rhythm began to shift. Nights got shorter, mornings started earlier, and for reasons that seemed unclear, the body began waking consistently around 3 o'clock a.m. This change can feel unsettling, but what if it wasn't a flaw in your body, but rather a new rhythm emerging from the inside out? The body's clock never stops, but it does shift. Inside each of us is a remarkable system known as the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock that tells us when to wake, when to eat, when to rest. It's deeply connected to light and darkness, to hormones like melatonin and cortisol, and to the habits we carry throughout our lives. In our younger years, this rhythm is strong and well-defined. We tend to fall asleep later, stay asleep longer, and wake up in alignment with our external world, especially when our days are filled with school, work, and activity. But as we grow older, the circadian rhythm naturally shifts forward. This is known as Advanced Sleep Phase Syndrome, SPS. It means that the body begins to prepare for sleep earlier in the evening, sometimes as early as 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock p.m., and it finishes its rest earlier, often before dawn. So when you find yourself wide awake at 3 o'clock a.m., it may simply be because your body has completed its sleep cycle, even if it feels far too early. Why does this happen with age? Several key changes occur in the aging brain and body that impact how we sleep. Melatonin levels decline. Melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep, is produced in smaller amounts as we age. This makes it harder to stay asleep through the night. Sensitivity to light increases as we grow older. Even small amounts of light, like a hallway lamp or the glow of a digital clock, can interfere with melatonin production and trigger wakefulness. The brain becomes more responsive to stimuli. Aging brains are more likely to shift from deep sleep to light sleep stages, making us more prone to waking up at small disturbances. These changes are not signs of something being wrong. They're signs that the body is evolving, and like all forms of evolution, they require gentle understanding, not fear. A story in the darkness. Meet Harold. Harold is 72. A retired engineer, he spent decades solving complex problems with precision and logic, but the one problem he couldn't seem to solve was his sleep. He would fall asleep easily around 9:30 p.m., often after reading a few pages from his favorite mystery novel. But like clockwork, his eyes would open at 3:15 AIE. He felt awake, fully alert, but the world was still asleep. At first, Harold thought it was insomnia. He tried teas, supplements, even meditation. Nothing seemed to work. He became frustrated. "Why is this happening now?" he would ask. "What's wrong with me?" But one day, after speaking with a sleep specialist, he heard something that shifted everything. "There's nothing wrong with you," the doctor said kindly. "Your body is just on a different schedule now. It thinks morning has already begun." That simple statement changed how Harold approached his nights. He stopped blaming himself. He started adjusting his routine, adding a short walk before bed, dimming the lights earlier in the evening, and avoiding screens that delayed his natural sleep onset. And when he did wake up at 3 o'clock IEM, he no longer panicked. Sometimes he would write in a journal. Other nights he would breathe deeply, remind himself it was okay, and slowly fall back to sleep. How you can work with your rhythm. You cannot force your body to follow a younger rhythm, but you can support the rhythm you're in now. Here are some gentle ways to do that. Dim lights earlier in the evening to signal to your brain that night is approaching. Avoid screens and bright devices at least an hour before bed. They suppress melatonin and confuse your internal clock. Stick to a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on weekends. Use soft lighting if you wake up at night, rather than turning on bright lamps. Expose yourself to natural sunlight in the morning, which helps reinforce the start of your circadian cycle. Avoid napping too late in the day, which can push your sleep window too far forward. When to be concerned. While waking at 3 o'clock a.m. is often a natural part of aging, there are situations where it may be worth seeking help. If your early wake-ups are accompanied by anxiety, racing thoughts, or sadness that doesn't ease, if you're unable to return to sleep most nights and feel chronically fatigued during the day, if your daily functioning or mood is significantly affected. In those cases, it's wise to consult a healthcare provider who understands sleep in older adults. Sometimes small changes in routine or adjusting medication schedules can make a powerful difference. A new way to see 3 o'clock IEM. Waking up in the middle of the night can feel lonely, but it can also be a quiet mirror, a chance to listen more closely to what your body is trying to say. Maybe it's asking for more rhythm. Maybe it's asking for less stimulation. Maybe it's simply asking for kindness. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are adjusting. You are changing. And with the right care, you can rest again on your own terms. Chapter 2. Rest Interrupted. Sleep Disorders in Older Adults. It's one thing to wake up early because your body is adjusting. It's another to be jolted awake night after night by discomfort, restlessness, or a vague sense that something just isn't right. For many older adults, the line between natural sleep changes and true sleep disruption becomes blurred. You may ask yourself, is this just aging, or am I developing something more serious? The truth is, while some early morning wake-ups are natural, sleep disorders are also common in later life and often go unnoticed or untreated. These conditions aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they appear in quiet ways: a tossing leg, a skipped breath, a slow burning unease. In this chapter, we'll shine light on some of the most common sleep disorders that can cause you to wake at 3 o'clock IM, not with fear, but with clarity, compassion, and options. 1. Insomnia. When sleep feels slippery. Insomnia doesn't always look like staring at the ceiling all night. In older adults, it often shows up as fragmented sleep, falling asleep easily but waking multiple times through the night, often unable to return to rest. You may feel mentally tired but physically alert. Or the reverse, your body is exhausted but your mind won't quiet down. You might lie awake thinking about small things, tomorrow's errands, a forgotten phone call, a passing regret. These thoughts might not feel overwhelming, but they chip away at your ability to settle. Why does insomnia increase with age? Hormonal changes affect how long and deeply we sleep. Chronic pain or discomfort can keep you from staying asleep. Decreased activity during the day means less sleep pressure at night. Emotional changes, such as grief or transitions, can stir the mind long after midnight. It's easy to blame yourself, but insomnia is not a personal failure. It's a signal, a whisper from your system saying something needs attention. What helps? Sometimes it's routine. A predictable bedtime, calming rituals like gentle stretching, dim lights, no caffeine in the afternoon and short periods of natural daylight in the morning. For others, it's speaking with a sleep specialist, especially if symptoms are long-term. 2. Sleep apnea, the breath that breaks the night. Imagine you're fast asleep, and suddenly, your breathing stops. Not for long, but just long enough to wake your brain, even if you don't fully notice it. This is obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, one of the most common yet underdiagnosed sleep disorders in older adults. It occurs when the muscles at the back of your throat relax too much, blocking airflow. The result, a series of micro-awakenings throughout the night, sometimes dozens or even hundreds. You may not recall these wake-ups, but your body does. You wake up groggy, with a dry mouth, headache, or the feeling that you haven't truly rested, even if you were asleep for 8 hours. Signs you might have sleep apnea. Loud snoring or gasping sounds at night. Morning headaches. Waking up short of breath. Daytime sleepiness or fatigue, even after a full night's sleep. Frequent trips to the bathroom at night, a lesser-known symptom. Sleep apnea isn't just about sleep. Left untreated, it can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, memory problems, and stroke. The good news? It's treatable. A sleep study, which can sometimes be done at home, can help diagnose it. Treatment may include a CPAP machine, which keeps your airway open, weight management, or other tailored solutions. You are not broken if you have sleep apnea. You're simply living in a body that needs help breathing at night. And that help can bring you back to rest. Deep, nourishing rest. 3. Restless leg syndrome, when stillness becomes a battle. If you've ever felt a deep crawling sensation in your legs at night, an urge to move that's impossible to ignore, you may be experiencing restless leg syndrome, RL. It's a condition often misunderstood. People describe it as tingling, itching, pulling, or electric ants under the skin. It typically worsens at rest, particularly in the evening, and can make it difficult to fall or stay asleep. For older adults, RLS can cause frequent awakenings, especially in the early hours of the morning. You may stretch, walk around, change position a dozen times, and still feel the need to move. What causes it? Low iron levels in the brain, certain medications, chronic conditions like diabetes or kidney disease, genetic factors. RLS can be mild or severe, but either way, it's exhausting. And like other sleep disorders, it's not your fault. There are treatments available, from lifestyle changes, more iron-rich foods, reducing caffeine, gentle leg stretches before bed, to medications that calm nerve signals. A doctor can help identify the right path. 4. Periodic limb movement disorder, PLMD. PLMD is a cousin to RLS. Instead of an urge to move, it involves involuntary leg or arm movements during sleep, often every 20 to 40 seconds. You may not feel them, but your brain does. Each movement can cause a mini awakening, disrupting your sleep architecture without your full awareness. It's like your body is dancing while you sleep, and your rest never goes deep enough to restore you. If your partner notices twitching or jerking, or if you wake feeling strangely unrefreshed, PLMD could be part of the picture. Again, this is something a sleep study can identify and treat. 5. When sleep feels out of reach, emotional fatigue. Sometimes the disorder isn't physical, but emotional. Grief, regret, loneliness, they can come for you at night in ways that daytime distractions never allow. The quiet at 3:00 a.m. can feel like an amplifier for the whispers of the past. Moments undone, conversations unsaid, memories both sweet and painful. This kind of emotional restlessness can disrupt your sleep just as much as any medical condition. If you feel this kind of weight, you're not weak, you're human. And there is help. Support groups, counseling, journaling, spiritual reflection, whatever feels safe for you, can ease the heart and calm the mind. Because restful sleep isn't just a matter of breath and body. It's also a matter of peace. You deserve answers, and you deserve sleep. If you're waking up at 3:00 a.m. night after night, and you're starting to feel like you're failing, please know you are not alone and you are not the problem. Sometimes sleep is disrupted by internal rhythms. Sometimes it's interrupted by conditions that need care. But always, it is something you can understand, support, and improve. Talk to your doctor, ask about a sleep study, track your habits, notice the patterns. You don't have to suffer silently. And most of all, remember, your sleep matters because you matter. Chapter 3. Nighttime Signals. When health conditions disrupt your sleep. Sometimes your body speaks loudest in the quietest hours. Waking up at 3:00 a.m. may not be about restlessness or stress. It may be your body's way of signaling that something isn't quite right. Many older adults experience interrupted sleep due to underlying health conditions that make rest uncomfortable or impossible to sustain. 1. Pain that rises in the dark. Chronic pain, especially from arthritis, is a common reason for disrupted sleep. Joints stiffen overnight, and lying in one position for too long can trigger sharp discomfort. What started as a deep slumber becomes a restless shifting, then waking. Reflux, acid reflux, or GERD is another common culprit. Lying flat can worsen stomach acid backflow, causing a burning sensation or the urge to cough, often around 2 or 3 a.m. when the body is most still. Simple adjustments like elevating the head of your bed, avoiding late meals, or using supportive pillows can sometimes help reduce these flare-ups. 2. The frequent urge to urinate. As people age, the bladder loses elasticity, and prostate issues in men or hormonal changes in women can lead to increased nighttime urination, nocturia. You may not feel this urge during the day, but at night, with nothing else to distract you, the pressure becomes immediate. Getting up once or twice may seem manageable, but each wake-up disrupts the sleep cycle, and returning to sleep isn't always easy. Reviewing fluid intake, adjusting medication timing, or speaking with a doctor about possible underlying conditions can often reduce nighttime trips. 3. Hormones and hidden transitions. Menopause and postmenopausal symptoms such as night sweats and temperature fluctuations can wake women suddenly in the middle of the night. These awakenings are often mistaken for anxiety or insomnia, but may be related to hormonal shifts. Men too experience gradual hormone changes that can impact energy, mood, and sleep stability, though these symptoms tend to appear more subtly. 4. Mental health that echoes at night. Conditions like depression and anxiety don't always show up during the day. For many, the weight of sadness or tension becomes more noticeable in the dark. Nighttime rumination can keep you awake or wake you up, especially around 3 a.m. when emotional sensitivity peaks. It's important to know this isn't weakness. It's human, and treatment for depression or anxiety, even gentle lifestyle changes or therapy, can greatly improve both mood and sleep. When your body whispers, listen. Waking at 3:00 a.m. may not mean something is seriously wrong, but it does mean your body is trying to communicate. Whether it's pain, digestion, hormones, or an emotional undercurrent, there's often a reason worth exploring. The good news? Most causes can be managed once recognized. Pay attention to patterns, keep a sleep and symptom journal, and most of all, don't ignore your discomfort just because it's common with age. Because restful sleep isn't just about age, it's about understanding your body's needs as they evolve. Chapter 4. Medications that wake you up. Sometimes, it's not your body or your mind that's waking you up at 3 a.m. It's the medications you're taking to stay healthy. As we age, many of us rely on medications to manage blood pressure, heart health, arthritis, diabetes, and more. These drugs can be life-saving, but they can also carry side effects that interfere with sleep in subtle ways. Understanding how and when medications affect your rest can be a crucial step toward better sleep and better health. 1. Diuretics, water pills. Commonly prescribed for high blood pressure or heart conditions, diuretics help the body eliminate excess fluid, but if taken too late in the day, they can lead to frequent nighttime urination, one of the most common causes of 3 a.m. wake-ups. Simple fix. Talk to your doctor about taking these medications earlier in the day, often in the morning, to reduce overnight bathroom trips. 2. Antidepressants and anxiety medications. Some antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs can alter sleep patterns. Certain types may cause restlessness or even vivid dreams and early waking. Others can increase daytime drowsiness, but cause nighttime alertness. It's not uncommon for older adults to be prescribed these medications for mood, chronic pain, or sleep support, but effects vary greatly between individuals. If you've recently started a new medication and noticed a change in your sleep, bring it up with your physician. It might just be a matter of adjusting dosage or switching to a more sleep-friendly alternative. 3. Steroids. Corticosteroids, often used to treat inflammation or autoimmune conditions, are known to cause insomnia and nighttime energy spikes, especially if taken in the afternoon or evening. Some people describe lying awake with racing thoughts, or waking up around 2-3 a.m., feeling wired but exhausted. If this sounds familiar, check the timing. Taking steroids in the morning may help reduce these effects. 4. Decongestants and cold medication. Even over-the-counter medications can disrupt sleep. Decongestants, cough syrups, or antihistamines with stimulating ingredients may help relieve symptoms, but also cause alertness or even anxiety during the night. Always check for labels like non-drowsy or ingredients like pseudoephedrine, which can be too stimulating close to bedtime. 5. Drug interactions and cumulative effects. As the medication list grows, so does the chance of interactions. Some combinations amplify side effects like dry mouth, muscle cramps, digestive issues, or restlessness, all of which can wake you during light sleep stages. More importantly, our bodies metabolize medications more slowly with age. A pill that once caused no problems may now linger longer in the system, affecting sleep hours after it was taken. What you can do: keep a sleep journal, track when you take medications and when you wake up. Patterns often emerge over time. Talk to your pharmacist. Ask which medications may impact sleep and whether the timing can be adjusted. Never stop or adjust medication on your own. Always consult your doctor, who can help weigh benefits versus side effects. Ask about extended release or alternate forms. Some medications can be reformulated to reduce nighttime impact. Sleep isn't just about bedtime. It's also about chemistry. Your sleep is part of a complex system. The food you eat, the thoughts you carry, and yes, the medications you take, all play a role in how your body rests. Waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't always mean something is wrong, but it could mean that your prescription routine needs a second look. The good news is, with guidance, small adjustments can lead to big improvements, and perhaps longer, deeper, more peaceful nights. Chapter 5. The hidden weight of worry. Stress and anxiety at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. the world is silent, but the mind often isn't. For many older adults, the most disruptive part of sleep isn't pain, illness, or medication. It's thoughts that arrive uninvited, whispering quietly but persistently. Regrets from years ago, worries about health, finances, family. The fear of becoming a burden, the ache of loss. You may not feel anxious during the day, but at night, when distractions fade and the body is still, the mind finally has room to speak. Why worry shows up at night? There is a scientific reason behind nighttime anxiety. In the early morning hours, especially between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, IM cortisol levels naturally rise. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. When balanced, it helps us wake up gently. But when we're emotionally overwhelmed or mentally tired, this rise can feel like a jolt of tension. Combine that with loneliness. changes in life roles, financial uncertainty, health concerns, the loss of a spouse or close friends. And suddenly, a peaceful night becomes an emotional storm. What 3 a.m. thoughts often sound like. What if something happens to me and no one notices? I forgot to call her back. She must think I don't care. How long can I live like this? Did I leave the stove on? What will happen when I can't drive anymore? These aren't just passing thoughts. They're windows into deeper emotional needs for safety, connection, meaning, and control. The quiet face of anxiety in older adults. Many older adults don't describe themselves as anxious. Instead, they may say, "I just feel unsettled. I wake up worried, but I don't know why. My chest feels heavy at night. I'm always tired, but I can't rest." This can lead to misdiagnosis, or worse. But anxiety and stress are not signs of weakness. They are signs of awareness, of deep care, of carrying too much without release. Ways to gently ease the mind. You don't need to solve everything to sleep better. Sometimes you just need a place to lay your thoughts down. Try keeping a journal by your bed. Write a few sentences if you wake up anxious. Let your mind empty onto the page. Creating a calming bedtime ritual. Soft music, warm tea, gentle stretches, a prayer or short meditation. Talking to someone you trust even once a week, a counselor, a friend, a support group. Reducing stimulation before bed. No news, screens, or heavy conversations at night. Practicing simple breathing. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. What help can look like. If anxiety becomes a regular nighttime visitor, if it affects your daily energy, mood, or ability to find joy, it may be time to speak with your doctor. Treatment can be gentle and effective. Short-term counseling. Mindfulness-based programs. Safe medications only if necessary. Support groups, especially for seniors. You deserve rest, not just for your body, but for your heart and your thoughts too. 3 a.m. is not the enemy. Sometimes what wakes you up at 3 a.m. isn't fear. It's something inside you asking to be heard. And when you listen with compassion, not judgment, you may find not just sleep, but peace. Chapter 6. The sleep environment. When the room becomes the problem. You may think your sleep problems are inside you, but sometimes the real culprit is outside, in the room where you lay your head. As we age, we become more sensitive to noise, temperature, lighting, and even the feel of the mattress. What once felt fine now becomes a subtle but powerful disturbance, especially at 3 a.m., when our bodies are more vulnerable to external triggers. 1. Light, a subtle saboteur. Even small sources of light can disrupt sleep. Street lights through the window, a nightlight in the hallway, the glowing clock by the bed. As melatonin levels decline with age, the body becomes more sensitive to light, especially at night. Exposure to even low level can signal the brain that it's time to wake. Try blackout curtains. Turning off or covering LED lights. Using a dim, amber nightlight if safety is a concern. 2. Noise, the unseen agitator. You may not even remember hearing the dog bark or the pipes rattle, but your brain does. As sleep gets lighter with age, background sounds previously ignored can now trigger micro-awakenings or full alertness. Helpful ideas. White noise machines or gentle sound apps. Earplugs if comfortable. Ensuring the room is away from household noise, TVs, appliances. 3. Temperature, the invisible disturber. Many older adults wake up at 3 a.m. simply because the room is too hot or too cold. Thermoregulation becomes more fragile with age. Night sweats, cold feet, or drafty windows can all disturb the delicate balance your body needs to rest. Lotion. Layered bedding to adjust easily. A cool, consistent room temperature around 65-68 dF/1820 DGC. A fan or warm socks depending on your needs. 4. Comfort what your bed is telling you. How long has it been since you changed your mattress or pillow? A sagging mattress, uneven surface, or unsupportive pillow can increase joint pain, worsen arthritis, and prevent the body from fully relaxing. You might not feel discomfort when falling asleep, but after a few hours, the pressure builds, waking you up in the middle of the night. It doesn't have to be expensive. Even a simple foam topper or orthopedic pillow can make a big difference. 5. Clutter and mental noise. A cluttered room can create a cluttered mind. Even if you're not awake enough to notice it consciously, piles of papers, laundry, or tangled wires can create a subtle sense of disorder. Consider a small act of care. Tidy your bedside table. Keep only what brings calm and comfort nearby. Add one soothing object, a soft lamp, a photo, a small plant. Your room should be a place of return. Sleep doesn't just depend on what's happening inside your body. It depends on where you are sleeping. The room where you rest should feel like a refuge, not just a space, but a signal to your body and mind. Here, you are safe. Here, you can let go. If you find yourself waking at 3 a.m., look around. Is your room truly supporting your rest? Or is it silently standing in the way? Conclusion: a gentle reminder at 3 a.m. Waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is speaking, your mind is processing, and your life, rich with years, is still adjusting. With awareness, small changes, and self-careness, rest can return. Because no matter your age, you still deserve peace. You still deserve sleep. Thank you for being here. If this story brought you comfort or clarity, we invite you to join us again. See you in the next video, where we continue exploring the quiet strength and wisdom of growing older. Until then, take care of yourself. And when the world is quiet, may you rest well.